So apparently, this week, the Union decides to ignore international law and just start taking people off of British boats. Hello and welcome to Civil War in Hindsight. I'm Lieutenant Tommy. With me, as always, is Prospector Johnny. And last week, Johnny, I thought we had a good week, but this week, getting even better. Even better.
So
well,
right, so
or
shit's winding down. Then because we're starting to really
worse,
get stuff and push. And wait,
how do you look
worse.
at it? Well, we do have an international.
I would like to look at it from the good guys' north side viewpoint, please.
There's an international incident that may blow up on us later, but for right now, it's okay. So, so we'll get into it, Johnny.
To be clear, you don't mean international like between the north and the south, because the south is not a nation.
No, I mean international as in Britain.
Mommy and daddy are mad.
My dad, yeah, mommy.
Mommy and daddy.
Oh, Britannia. Britannia is my home, and we kind of pissed off the Queen. All right, so this week it begins with the Trent Affair, Johnny, and it might actually be the Confederacy's best hope to get foreign support. So what happens is, remember a month ago when the Confederates commissioners James M. Mason and John Slidell escaped the blockade on October 12th and were ultimately destined for Europe, one to France, one to England.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Well, we find them. So Captain, no, they didn't make it.
On their way we found them?
They're on their way. Yeah, so Captain Charles Wilkes, who's kind of a flamboyant, like eccentric character here. He is the captain of the San Jacinto, who's going to track the commissioners to Havana, Cuba. And he's going to find out that they're about ready to board the British mail vessel, the Trent. So Captain Wilkes,
and that's of course is their way in, right?
They're gonna
now
were
they boarding it legally? They were
like they're paying they're paying a passage to
stowaways.
No, they're not stowaways. They're them and by the way, it's their families too. It's their wives and their children that have also accompanied
nice little vacay to go try to save this fake nation you've created. Cool.
Or alternatively, maybe it's a let's escape out of here before we get all hung as treason. Like traitors, like it could be that too.
Yep.
I'm thinking it might be partly that. Now they are going to board the vessel Trent. Captain Wilkes is going to have his spies or his people go on to Cuba and find out that yes, they're boarding that boat, and yes, that boat is intending to leave on the 7th, which was Sunday of last week. Mm-hmm. Wilkes is going to wait outside the harbor until the Trent departs, and he's going to predict that the Trent is going to likely take the Bahama Canal out into the open water. So what he's going to do is he's going to wait at the other end of the Bahama Canal and just wait for them to come.
That makes sense, because I'm sure that's pretty standard route. I mean,
kind of the standard
if it's a mail vessel, I would imagine it has... it's doing
a standard route, same shit
every week or whatever.
This isn't
3 months, however long.
Have to reiterate, this is not a military vessel. It's not a military vessel. It's not armed to be a military vessel. It's a mailboat. I mean,
it's just a transport. That's it.
So Wilkes stations himself just outside of the canal, and in the early afternoon of the 8th, the Trent does leave on the 7th. In the early afternoon of the 8th, it does exit the canal. The Trent is now in sight, and Wilkes decides to fire a friendly warning shot across the bow of the Trent, which the Trent promptly ignores. Like, we're not he unfurls the Union Jack, unfurls the American flag, and fires a warning shot across the Trent. The Trent goes, "Fuck! It's not 1812. Like, we're not at war. Like, fuck off with this shit."
Why are you doing this? What's going on? Now, I would imagine that shooting at
it's not good. That's not good.
Not good.
Yeah,
People don't like that.
That's not appropriate for nations that are at war. Wilkes then decides to use his swivel gun on the front of the boat. We got these smaller cannons, swivel guns. Aims it right at the Trent and fires, and it lands like right in front of the Trent. At this point, the Trent's like, all right, at least I'm going to listen to what the hell they're talking about, because stop.
Yeah, so the first one, maybe it was an accident, maybe it was a mistake, whatever.
The second one
came pretty close to hitting us. We got splashed by that.
And we don't really have any. Yeah, they don't have any real way of defending themselves against a fucking Union gunboat. Like, it's a. I mean, this is a frigate. This is a military vessel,
and it's loaded up with mail and packages and papers and things that are probably quite flammable. And
they're like
pretty quickly if it were to be shot by this war boat that came into contact with it.
So Wilkes's men are going to board the Trent, and after a very adult and not at all immature, spirited argument, Captain Moore of the Trent agrees, and I've used that term very loosely. Agrees.
I mean,
to relinquish both men under his control over to Wilkes.
Yeah, this is gun to your head. Can I have these men?
Sure.
It's either yes or no, bang, and then anyway.
Yeah, this is very much over the protests of the men's wives and children who are also on the boat, but they don't get it. They don't, it's like Wilkes is like, I don't want them. They're just women and children. Like, they can stay. They can go to England, have a good time,
Have fun.
Fish and chips, tea and crumpets. Enjoy your vacation, but your husbands are coming with us.
What I mean, Christ Almighty, those poor children. I mean, traitor children, yes, but they don't know any better.
They don't know any better. It's just
the wife. I mean, they were probably raising little Confederate soldiers anyway that would try to take over the United States and be treasonous. So I guess I can't feel too bad for him.
So we'll see how this plays out.
Daddy get taken away is not good.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out when the Trent arrives back in London. But I imagine there's gonna be an issue because we totally just fired on and then boarded and then took people off of a neutral nation's boat. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're gonna have something to report when they get into get in. What happened on us? How's the travel? Well, essentially, pirates boarded our ship and kidnapped two of our
passengers. Yeah. Also on the 8th here, actual good news is that while all this is going on, pro-Unionists in the mountains of Tennessee have decided that they're no longer wanting to wait for Union troops to come. They're like, we're going to take matters into our own hands, and they wage a guerrilla war against the Confederates, starting on the 8th.
Let's go.
They're going to burn bridges. They're going to start tearing up railroads, and they're going to start raiding supply depots. They're doing everything they can to just screw with the Confederates. On the 9th, these raids have gotten so bad that Brigadier General Felix Zollicoffer is going to call for reinforcements. Like, hey, T.P. Davis,
I need some
Trader
help.
President Davis. Yeah. Tennesseans are pissed in the mountains, and they're burning our shit. Can you do something about this?
They're messing up our shit. I mean, that's fantastic. Do we have any idea what their numbers are like? How many of?
No, I don't have it. This is small pockets, misfits. Just it could just be your neighbor. I mean, could just be neighbors. I don't know. Just a handful of people. At least enough that like the Confederates that are in Tennessee are like, hey, we need some help to deal with the civil disobedience that's going on when we seceded in our own form of civil disobedience.
Yeah, that's a tricky one because they seceded and they're like, oh, we were doing that from the nation, but then the
people
the
didn't
other
want
nation,
to do it.
They're like, no, we want back in.
We want back in that one.
The other one,
Also on the 9th, Federals are going to venture out from Port Royal that we successfully seized last week, and they're going to seize Beaufort, South Carolina, without a fight. Right. They're just like moving on, coming. More territory taken. This is going to prompt newly in charge of that region, General Lee, to write Trader President Davis with concern that the Federals now control the coastline, now control many of the riverways, and are now taking control of cities within his jurisdiction. And like, hey, this is hard. War is hard. Can you do something about this?
Trader General Lee, who swore he wasn't going to fight in this war and then did anyway for the enemy. Sorry that it's hard now because the enemy sucks and we're kicking your ass.
And let's point out here about Lee. He said, no, I'm not going to fight with the Union because you could turn your troops against Virginia and my home is where I want to be. He then joins the Confederacy because Virginia has seceded. And he's like, all right, I'm going to defend my homeland. You're in fucking South Carolina, you jackass. What are you doing there, bud? Yeah, that's not Virginia, is it? Maybe get back to Virginia.
Protecting your home state anymore. Now you're protecting your traitorous countrymen.
Yeah.
Get bent.
Get bent, Lee, not Lincoln. Well, Lincoln too for his
sometimes
whole,
Lincoln too. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, but it's been at least a week and a half since any dictator-y shit's happened, right?
Yeah. Well, speaking of Lincoln, he's going to restructure the army again because apparently, like, that's his idea to fix this. Is we'll just keep making new posts and making new posts and positions.
Makes it look like he's doing stuff.
So he's going to create the new Department of Missouri, which was given over to the command of Major General Henry Halleck, who has to clean up Fremont's mess. So the solution to Fremont is we'll relieve Fremont, put Halleck in charge, and then create a whole new division of the Army.
Yeah, new army, yay!
Also, the new Department of the Ohio has its command changed from General Sherman to General Buell because, Sherman has reported that the position has been a great strain on his mental health, and there are actually, in fact, questions of his sanity at this point because, I guess war is hard on your mentality. So Sherman's like, maybe I don't want to. And remember, Sherman's predecessor also retired because he went a little. So there's
maybe
there's
it's something
that.
in the water out in Ohio. Maybe they got something causing people going insane.
Maybe I'm sure that for the rest of this war, though, we will never hear Sherman's name again. I'm sure that absolutely not.
Well, when you have a mental breakdown,
he'll never be important again.
He shouldn't be. He had a mental breakdown.
Had a mental breakdown,
Tommy.
That's true. He did have a mental breakdown.
Can't be trusted in the future. What are we going to do? Just put him in charge of something? Give me a break.
Never put him in charge of anything again. On the 10th, Trader President Davis expresses concern that his armies have made no progress since July, but suggests that maybe the best they can do at this point is reinforce what they have with what little supplies they can muster because Confederacy.
Yeah, they're not like, guys, if we could send reinforcements, we would have by now. If we had the food to send you, we'd be happy to send it.
Would have by now. But we don't, so good luck. Hold on.
Because turns out when all you do is pick cotton as a country, you don't have shit to show for it.
And tobacco, Johnny, and tobacco.
Yeah.
Don't forget about the tobacco.
I'm having a hard tobacco, and then you can ship off your wool to the north to be processed and turned into garments.
I'm having a hard time finding tobacco for my pipe, in fact. I've had to smoke chitlins or whatever the hell they call them, like cloves and shit.
I mean, war is hard, Tommy.
Yeah, it is hard.
Sacrifices.
I made a sacrifice to gloriously switch over to the ordnance department so I wouldn't be anywhere near the battlefront, and now I can't even find my tobacco. Jesus.
Now you can't. I'll bet you could find it at the if you were down in the south fighting.
But that doesn't seem like something I want to do.
It doesn't seem like something he'd be able to do.
Good, probably not. On the 11th, the Confederates have a whoopsie-doodle when a 128-pound cannon on the bluffs outside of Columbus, Kentucky, explodes, killing 7 and wounding Major General Polk. Whoops. So, U.S. Grant, you just got lucky. The guy who beat you last week, or at least fought you to a draw, blew himself up with a cannon.
Like you do. Yeah, so I assume that's when something like that happens with the cannon. I assume that's an overloading issue, or there's a structural issue. Why would a cannon explode?
So a 128-pound gun. Now, what that means is the cannon doesn't weigh 128 pounds. That's the round that it shoots weight. This is a big ass ball that this thing fires.
128-pound ball. How do you load that? I mean, that's a.
You have winches. You've got help.
People.
Yeah, this isn't a person putting the cannonball into the. This machines are helping us with this. Yeah, this is a siege gun.
World's strongest man type stuff.
No, this is a siege gun, and I mean, it's probably an older gun made out of iron. Probably a bit too much gunpowder in it. Probably shot too many times and blew out. I mean,
you got some debris buildup or something inside, and then it just the round can't go, and then bang, it's got to go somewhere. 7 people.
Yeah, they don't call it military quality for nothing, right? This week, though, Johnny, we've got it's going to end here with Lincoln attempting to meet with General McClellan at the McClellan home on the evening of the 13th. So. Evening of the 13th into the morning of the 14th, Lincoln's like, hey, I got to meet with my General McClellan, who's kind of supposed to be, he's not necessarily the guy in charge, but he is supposed to be replacing Scott, who was the guy in charge. Yeah. And McClellan, since he's been put in charge, of the Potomac region, has done fuck all. Nothing.
There's nothing.
Done nothing. We haven't really made any major moves since Manassas.
Yeah, it seems like he's maybe just waiting for the war to end everywhere else.
At least not in Virginia.
So
Lincoln, the president of the United States, Lincoln, is going to meet with his general, McClellan, and Lincoln is going to wait with his staff for several hours at the McClellan home. Once the general does arrive, McClellan does not talk to Lincoln at all. He, in fact, immediately retires to his room without speaking to Lincoln. So,
was it?
Way to be a dick,
dude.
Drunk? I'm imagining he has to be.
He come home wasted and be like, "Oh, that's my boss." Oh,
maybe if I just. I imagine that's what exactly has to. Because what else? Like what else?
To be?
He's your boss.
He's not mad at him, right? Like they're not fighting.
No, they're not necessarily. Well,
he came home wasted after a night at the tavern. Forgot he had the meeting scheduled with him. Or, like what? I mean,
I don't know. There is rumor that they're not necessarily like Lincoln. McClellan doesn't really respect Lincoln. There's some of that rumor going on. McClellan also didn't respect Scott. I mean, remember we had that kind of like.
Right. Yeah.
With each other.
And that's fine, but I mean, it's still you.
But Johnny,
your boss came to your home.
Your boss came. It's not even your boss came. It's the president of the United States, Johnny. If Lincoln comes to my office, my little shack here.
Hello,
if Lincoln comes to
sir?
my office,
yes,
hello, sir. I have never
said anything bad.
Never called you a dictator ever. Hey, no. I've got some.
I fully support all your dictatorship tendencies. They're
I've got some
fantastic. Well done running
done.
this country.
I've got some
half of the country that
I've got
you have
some
left.
I've got some stout. Would you like a good stout? Maybe a porter? Perhaps a good ale? It's a fine selection of Old Crow whiskey. I hear that U.S. Grant really likes that.
Absolutely.
Would you like some of that? I'm going to suck his ass. Do whatever I need to do. But McClellan just says, nah, I'm going to bed.
Goes to bed.
Doesn't talk to him.
Bye.
So I guess we'll see how that plays out politically over the next few weeks.
So they'll meet in the morning, I guess?
I don't know. This is the end of the week.
Did Lincoln spend the night?
I don't know. I have no idea. I just heard that he was supposed to meet, and McClellan said nope.
Crash on his bench there, maybe?
His sofa, maybe? Yeah, there's a little faint. Maybe he crashes on the fainting couch. I don't know. We'll see I guess we'll see how it plays out next week. That's it for this week in Civil War in Hindsight. If you enjoy this, check out Historic Hindsight. We talk about all kinds of fun historical things like bunnies attacking Napoleon and gold being confiscated by FDR.